though, I was like, pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty. Like, was that okay?
But wait, there's more.
The conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title. And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
Hold up.
Hold up.
There's
Stop
several
right now.
There's several conversations.
There's a
about
conversation with you
with Harry
about how dark your baby is going to be?
potentially and what that would mean or look like.
Oprah, they're so racist. That's not racist. Because even black people want to know. How brown the baby gonna be?
That conversation I'm never going to share.
Ooh, this is uncomfortable.
We'll talk when we get home.
Hello, sister friends. It actually told me my mic was muted that time. I started playing the whole intro. Oh, my crown, excuse me. And the intro, the mic wasn't muted, and it's supposed to mute it automatically. Maybe it's different. Might be because it's not an actual intro. I put a video. Because it's so long. It's over 3 minutes. I couldn't stop myself. I was having too much fun making that video. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Queen Jenny, and I am pleased to be here with you this evening. I have found a new prop to go with my Wednesday night things. We'll see. It's kind of digging into my head, so we'll see how long it'll last. Maybe I can just keep adjusting it. This was my daughter because she was on homecoming court. I think that's what it's from. I don't know. Just two of them. She was also, now that I think about it, on a prom court. Yep. All right. Little popular girl. She's just friendly. She's friendly. She was friendly. She was like friends with everybody, every group. Friends with the jocks, friends with she was a varsity cheerleader for 4 years, so she kind of knew the cheerleaders, but really her closest friends were just the smart kids. That's who she hung out with. But she liked everybody. Didn't matter who you were. She sees value in all people. She's a good person. She's the one that's a veterinarian. Makes sense. Likes people and animals. I think she likes animals more than people, but most people who like animals, most people in the world should like animals more than people, unless your name is Robin Brown, of course, right? All right, well, let me say hello to some people here, and then we need to jump in because we are doing 3 chapters this evening so that we can keep up and get done in 9 months. This is quite the book. The first chapter is Hillary, which I don't know who Hillary is unless we're talking about Clinton, which maybe we are. I don't know. I think the first one is short, but let me say hi. We have Carol Butler. Hi, Carol. Hi, Dee Dee. Hi, Maureen, our resident English woman. Dee Dee, Maureen, Dee Dee. Shanna Banana's here. Hello, Shanna Banana. Good to see you. Nadine. Amy D. Mama Squirrel. Lots of great people in the house here today. Wendy's Front Yard. Let's see. Of course, our infamous moderator, Lynn Skinner. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Let's see. Those rock people are different for sure. That's right. Friday nights, if you're not busy. I just posted our last rock people videos. So I have this Friday's and then the next two. Next Friday, I'm out of town. I'm working. Working all Friday night too. So we're going to skip a week and then we'll get back into the final two. All right, Liz is here. Good to see you, Liz. Joni C, hello. Wendy's Front Yard, I think I said hello to you. I know I saw it, but if I didn't say hello, hello. We have Kitty in the house. And if I skip anybody, just my apologies. I'm trying not to take too long to do this, so I'm scanning quickly. We have Shanna Banana, who's more than generous. Thank you, Shanna Banana. You're so kind. Let's see. Deborah. Good to see you, Deborah. Reen, Amy, Lynn, Joni, Kitty, Deborah. Oh, thank you, Deborah. I feel very, very important. Yes, I am the queen today. I have moved up. I've just been HRH. I've been Duchess. I've been Princess. That can't be. Maybe I haven't been HRH. I think I've been Duchess and Princess because this, I think, is our third. Maybe it's our fourth. Maybe I was HRH. It's a blur. Oh, yeah. This probably is more. I'm thinking of rock people. All right. And Dee Dee, thank you, too. So kind. Thank you. I appreciate that you appreciate the intro because I put a lot of work into that for not being like a regular video. But I just love it. Oh, goodness. I kept looking for more pictures and looking into clips. That's what got me to get Netflix for the month. I'm like, I have to make recordings of some of these clips that I'm seeing on YouTube. All right, Deborah, thank you so much. Everyone is so generous to the queen. Very posh, yes, very posh. Liz, hello. Nicole, I think I said hi, but just in case I didn't. Hey there, Tina, good to see you. Oh, look at all the people in the house here. Okay, so yeah, I even put on the red roses. Kind of felt a little more royal to me. Definitely more royal than my overstretched, overwashed, bleach-stained cat t-shirt that I was wearing today. Crown didn't go with that, so I put on a red rose. I'm sure they have red roses all over the castle. I would imagine anyway. Okay, let's get started. We are heading off with Hillary today. What does it say? And just so you know, I stop every now and then, make some comments because that stays in copyright compliance. And because you have to have commentary on it, I have to have my opinion shared with this. I can't just sit here and just read straight through a book reading. So that is why I will stop and comment every now and then, or I'll just react to a sentence or something along that line. In between chapters, we'll chat a little bit as well. Okay, just to get that out of the way. Also, this is written by a Brit, so the language is a little bit different. I mean, it's English, but it's formal English. I speak American English. More slang. I'm a little bit more Meghan Markle. I hate that I said that, but I did, didn't I? Nevertheless, and he is just an author as a full-time occupation. So also has vocabulary that is sometimes beyond me. I will do my best. Also, he writes sentences where he starts to talk, pauses, says something else, comes back, and finishes his sentence. That kind of sentence is pretty sure it begins with an A. It's not a positives. Is it a positives? I should look that up. I should know as a speech therapist. I've even taught them. I can't think what they're called. Anyway, so that's a little confusing. And he also has a lot of names of locations and people. I do my best to, after I've said the name, try to just skip the last name if I can, just to keep things moving smoother for you and just use first names. I think it's easier listening that way too. Okay, that being said, we're going to jump in. Okay, here we go. I've often escorted Meghan around New York, John Fitzpatrick recalled, and she often stayed at my hotel in Manhattan. Huh, first sentence, exactly what I was describing. Stop, jump aside, come back. Okay. Fitzpatrick understood Meghan's ambition. She wanted to meet and spend time with celebrities. Automatically, he invited her to the best restaurants, especially La Bilboquette, pronounced by Fitzpatrick as Bill Buckley, priding itself as one of New York's snobbiest restaurants in the Upper East Side. People had to beg for a table to sit near famous actors, or even Bill Clinton. Among New York hoteliers, Fitzpatrick's many attractions for Meghan was his close relationship with the Clintons. In 2015, he proudly hosted Hillary's fundraising campaign in the city as she sought the presidency in the following year's election. As New York's former senator and the Secretary of State, no one was better connected than Hillary Clinton. I should pause right here to say we are going to not talk politics on this channel. So it's supposed to be lively, upbeat, fun. And when anyone talks politics, it's negative and depressing and just leaves you in angst, even if 100% of us agree on the same political side, which obviously is not going to happen. But if it were true, it still would create anxiety because people are just going to be complaining about what the other side does. So, since this whole chapter is on Hillary, it's obviously going to be somewhat politically affiliated. Okay, I'm going to take off my watch because I just realized it does not match my rose-colored blouse. Okay, I'm going on here. Where are we? Blah, 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 blah. By then, Meghan had focused on Emma Watson and her ambassadorship for the UN Women's Program. Oh, she wants to be a U.S. ambassador. I mean, didn't she say she was a U.S. ambassador? That little program that she did that her uncle got her into? I swear she referred to it as her being a U.S. ambassador, but all she did was go over there and pose and model in different outfits with underprivileged kids and come home and make a lot of demands along the way on how she needed to be treated when she was there. It's really kind of disgusting when you think about it. All right. So now she's focusing on Emma Watson. Okay. Meghan set her sights on securing the same appointment. Fitzpatrick could help. A request from Hillary Clinton's office to Pumzile Mlambo Nuzuka, I don't know, head of the UN Women at the headquarters of New York, secured the vital introduction that Meghan sought. Elizabeth, something I can't pronounce, a Zimbabwean, let's say that 10 times fast, Zimbabwean employee of the United Nations campaign to promote women's rights and eradicate gender inequality by 2030, telephoned Meghan and asked her whether she would like to become a, quote, women's advocate for political participation, end quote, in Africa. That was exactly the opportunity Meghan wanted. This Zimbabwean employee of the United Nations, dressed in outstanding clothes and with her distinctive voice, dominated a room. She never expected to stand quietly in a corner, nor would Meghan. From the outset, there were the ingredients for a disagreement between these two. I'm just going to say the African representative. The African representative suggested that Meghan should do 1 week's internship in New York and then front a promotional video advocating female leadership. To accommodate her timetable, it would be shot in Toronto. Matt Hessel, a creative director of the advertising agency KBS, was asked by the African lady to fly down to New York from Toronto to meet the famous celebrity who would be the video star. Amid secrecy about the celebrity's identity, Hessel wondered who it might be. Meryl Streep, possibly, or another Hollywood star. When the African lady revealed that it was Meghan Markle, Hessel was dumbfounded. Who? He and his producer, Brenda something, asked themselves. Neither had ever heard of Meghan or of Suits. Wonderful, they politely chimed as Meghan joined the conversation by Zoom. Awkward. Introduced to the actress, both advertising executives were struck by Meghan's insistence that she, the star, would be in control. Her illusion of grandeur continued during the video shoot at George Brown College in Toronto. Everyone, it seemed, was there to serve her. Only the African lady, UN representative, she wasn't even a UN. She was a employee of the United Nations campaign. I don't know how important that is. Okay, anyway, that lady. Okay, lost where I am. Okay, she insisted she was the star. Okay, only this lady refused to oblige. Throughout the day, they disagreed about the script. The video was shot, but the result was practically unusable. Nevertheless, in February of 2015, Meghan flew with this lady 9,000 miles from New York to Rwanda, a landlocked country in Central Africa, to speak to women about the importance of gender equality. Oh boy, this ought to be good. Rwanda had been the site of an appalling tragedy. In the early 1990s, a genocidal civil war between the two tribes, the Tutsis and the Hutus, had ended after a brutal death of about 800,000 Tutsi civilians. Paul, a Tutsi army officer, had emerged in 2000 from the bloodbath to become the country's president, receiving 90% of the popular vote. By 2015, Kagame, I'm so sorry that the fan is clicking, people. I shoved extra paper in there today, and I turned it on, and it was silent. My apologies. I'll do better by, what is today, Wednesday? By Friday. Shove more paper in there. And you know what? I'm just going to buy another fan. Okay. By 2015, Kagame was widely accused of being complicit in the mass murder. Oh, geez. Many of his political opponents had been found dead, not only in Rwanda, but across Africa. And Hutu refugees in neighboring Congo were being slaughtered by the Rwandan army. Nevertheless, led by Britain's former Prime Minister, Tony Blair, many in the world community paraded Kagame as a model African Democrat. The UN, like Blair, ignored a 2014 report by the US State Department about murderous oppression in Rwanda. Similarly, they discounted the US Congress hearings in 2015 about Kagame's propensity to murder his opponents. It's a bad propensity. What are you dealing with? I have a propensity to murder anyone who goes up against me. All right, we should work on that. As a regular reader of The Economist, Meghan would have been aware of Kagami's reputation. But if she wanted to ingratiate herself with this lady, she had no choice but to support him. In this lady's, I'm just going to keep calling her this lady and I'll point up. And then we know that it's the United Nations employee. Okay. In this lady's opinion, Kagame was responsible for making Rwanda an exemplary model of female leadership to every country. In her admiration for the dictator, this lady described Rwanda's women politicians as phenomenal. She did not acknowledge that the female MPs were merely rubber stamping Kagame's edicts. All right, my apologies for all the slaughtering of names that I am doing in this chapter because history's not my thing. Politics isn't my thing. World leaders, obscure country names, I apologize. It's not my thing. Hated history all through school. Took the obligatory one history class in college to get your diploma. In high school, I don't know what I even took. Just what was required, clearly. All right. Accordingly, in her first speech in Rwanda, Meghan praised the president. Quote, "We need more men like that." End quote. During a week of meeting female Rwandan politicians, she was excited that 64% of Rwandan senators were women. Oh, this I remember. She did not mention that one reason for that was the murder of Rwandan men during the tribal genocide. Yeah, a lot of men be gone. So women stepped up. Kind of like back in the World War period of time, women started picking up and working in factories and doing construction, doing all the men's jobs because they were either at war or were at war and didn't come back. So women went into politics here, but she didn't mention that. She just talked about how great it was that 64% of the Rwandan senators were women, which is basically saying it's so great that all these men died because now you can step up and be a leader. It's not good. It's not good. Not a good look. Okay. Just as intimidated as the men, the female politicians did not question their leader's luxurious lifestyle. Traveling across the world in his large private jet, Kagame stayed in $2,000 per night hotels. I didn't even know that existed. $2,000 a night for a room? Okay. While his countrymen's average daily wage was $2. He's staying in hotels, cost $2,000 a night, while ruling a country that his people were making $2 a day. How can you live with yourself? Like, how could you even justify that? I'd be like, please put me in a tent, but put a lot of security guards. You can spend $1,000 on security. I mean, that's all I want. I just want to be safe. $2,000. That's crazy. Styling herself as an angel of mercy, Meghan did not question the president's fancy word. Don't know what it means. Largesse, Largesse. Basically, she did not question his, opulent spending of money, is what I think that we're talking about here. Overnighting in air-conditioned luxury, she visited the wretched Gihembe refugee camp to ask the distraught women, my apologies, to ask the distraught women how they coped with life. Their replies were barely listed. What does that mean? Their replies were barely listed. Back before nightfall in Kigali, the capital, she recorded on her Instagram account about the trip. "This type of work feeds my soul," she wrote. She did not appear to be troubled by the contrast that a short distance away, impoverished people barely survived. She went on to write, "My life shifts from refugee camps to red carpets," end quote. She wrote on the TIG, quote, "I chose them both because these worlds can in fact coexist," end quote. Yeah. Oh gosh, she's so out of touch. On her next trip to London, Meghan spoke to Gina Nelthorpe Crown about Elizabeth. Oh, her first name's Elizabeth this whole time? We could have been saying Elizabeth. This UN representative, about Elizabeth as a real friend. I'm just going to call her Elizabeth from now on, okay? This is the UN representative to Africa. She's not even a UN representative to Africa, but it seems like she went with her. They didn't say that. They called her, oh, her name is Elizabeth. I don't know how I missed that. She's a Zimbabwean employee of the United Nations campaign to promote women's rights. So that's not an ambassador. That's just like somebody who works in a certain department of the UN. Okay. Okay, so she goes to London. She speaks to Gina Nelthorpe Cowan about Elizabeth as being a real friend. Through the UN executive, she explained, she was certain to secure greater public exposure. "I take very seriously being a role model for young women," she explained. Henceforth and forevermore, I shall use this voice when I'm quoting Meghan. It'll be easier than me always saying, quote, quote, end quote. I'll just talk like this, and then we'll know it's Meghan. Because I can't do Meghan's voice, so that's the best that we're going to have to deal with. Within a short time, she expected Elizabeth to promote her to a UN advocate to UN ambassador, the same senior rank as Emma Watson. She thinks she's ever even slightly close to the prestige and popularity and admiration of Emma Watson. She's got something coming. Emma Watson is like, well, maybe not. My opinion of Emma Watson is that she's more shy, well-spoken, well-thought, a little more reserved, very proper. I can see her being a UN advocate. Meghan, not so much. In my opinion. Okay. What's her Watson obsession? Good question. Okay. In September of 2014, as a UN ambassador for women, Watson had launched the UN's He for She campaign at the UN headquarters in New York. Her impassioned speech about the gender equality captured global headlines. Watson was praised by, somebody whose name I can't pronounce at all. 3 words. We're just skipping on. I don't know who it is. I don't know. I don't think it matters. "We are thrilled and honored to work with Emma, whom we believe embodies the values of UN women," end quote. Dreaming of the same stardom, Meghan wrote in her working actress. I can't speak to. I don't know why I can't speak this evening. I apologize. Okay, "We are thrilled and honored to work with Emma, whom we believe embodies the values of UN women." Dreaming of that same stardom, Meghan wrote in her working actress blog, "I work long hours. I travel for press. My mind memorizes. My mind spins. My days blur. My nights are restless. My hair is primped. My face is painted. My name is recognized. My star meter is rising. My life is changing. Wow. She wrote that for other people to read. Unbelievable. Gina Nell Thorpe Cowan noticed the change. Her agency had arranged for Meghan to stay for free at the 5-star Dorchester in Park Lane. Although she was unknown, Meghan insisted that she be registered using an alias. Could probably use Meghan Markle as her alias. That's funny. You gotta remember, this is back when she was just on Suits. Like what season? I don't even know what season it was. Early on in Suits, because it was still going on. I don't even know how many seasons it had or how many seasons she was in. I pay no attention to Miss Meghan Markle, so I'm just starting to follow up on her. Just to be clear, Maureen, in America, nobody knew Meghan Markle. She was not a popular actress over here. I mean, if it was streamed in other countries, I bet some countries maybe she was more popular than even in America, because there's some countries that just don't get as much programming. We have 500 channels on cable. This obscure one with this actress who is ranked number 6 of importance, 6 out of 6 on the show. No clue. But she thinks she's so famous. All right. So she insisted being signed in as using an alias. Okay. Soon after the booking was confirmed, Meghan announced that she could not stay in that hotel. The owner, the Sultan of Brunei, whose Dorchester collection included the Beverly Hills Hotel in Los Angeles and La Meurice in Paris, had recently suggested that adulterers and homosexuals should be punished according to Sharia law, and that women who had abortions should be publicly flogged. Oh my. Another hotel willing to provide free accommodations in return for Meghan agreeing to promote it was found, quote, she was protective of her image, end quote, said Nelthorpe Cowan, and didn't want to do anything that would compromise that. Okay, it's kind of an oddly phrased sentence, but we'll move on. The news in London, however, was disappointing. Despite Nelthorpe Cowan's insistent pitch to clients for speaking events, highlighting Meghan as a strong, entrepreneurial, fluent woman of substance, she was rejected. The reason was always the same. She was unknown. And so was Suits. Without a profile, Meghan was told she could not attract British media attention and therefore would not be hired for engagements. Meghan did not hide her frustration. She let everyone know. She basically had, it's another way of saying Meghan had a temper tantrum. She didn't get her way. Wah. Her and Harry are perfect for each other. I was going to say something else here. I can't remember what. Oh, Nelthorpe Cowan. That's she functions as her agent sort of in London, right? Is that who that is? Remind me from previous chapters. I think that's who that is. Maybe it's her agent everywhere. But for some reason, I feel like it was the connection she made in England with somebody who would help her get engagements. But the poor woman is struggling. Okay. After consulting her agent and publicists, Meghan spotted an opportunity. Until then, she had mentioned race publicly twice. Once in December 2012 at the 3rd annual Witness Uganda concert in Los Angeles, and again in an anti-racism video for the U.S. charity Erase the Hate. Her published record produced no other examples of her publicly mentioning racism. In fact, throughout her appearances during the first series of Suits, her mixed race was barely mentioned, not least because most viewers thought she was white. That, she decided, should change, especially after her Black father was introduced into the second season of Suits. Having reconsidered her past, she decided that she would sincerely present herself as a survivor of racism. She just keeps getting better and better, doesn't she? The challenge was to find a platform to launch her rebranding. Oh my gosh. She's rebranding herself as somebody who suffered racism. That's just sick. She chose Elle magazine in America. One eyewitness described how Meghan breezed into Elle's office and met Justine Harmon, one of the magazine's editors. At one moment in their conversation, Meghan sought to integrate herself and offered to write the place cards for Harmon's wedding. After successfully pitching her idea for the article, Meghan embroidered it with a twist. Meghan suggested to Elle that she should travel to the island of Malta to search for her mixed race roots. Oh my gosh. She has no mixed race roots. Her mom was Black, and her dad was white. She is mixed. She's first generation mixed race. There are no mixed race roots. She can look for her Black roots if that. I don't know anything about Malta, to be honest with you. I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about Malta. Is it predominantly Black? Maybe that's what she was going for. But this is at least the second time in this book, and we are only 75 pages into a 452-page book, where she has tried to get some cause or organization or nonprofit to send her away on trips. She tried to do that recently with Netflix too. We haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, just one of the shows she pitched, right? Did we read that at the beginning, or did I hear that online somewhere? Yeah, that was one of the shows. I will travel around the world and try foods at different places and then like make them in a kitchen somewhere. Or maybe she was just going to evaluate them and eat them. I don't know. Maybe she thought she was the newest. I'm sorry, I don't watch any of those shows. Not Gordon Ramsay. He's a cook. Who's that? Oh, there was a gentleman who unlived himself. Is that the appropriate term you're allowed to say on YouTube now? Who was just known for that, just traveling around and trying different foods. Well, there's a couple different guys. Oh, there's the one around America who just travels to like little dive with all the hair. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I should pay attention to more. I hate cooking. I do. You know, one of these days when I retire, I think I might enjoy cooking. Maybe. We'll see. I just feel like it's such a waste of time because there's so much I have to do that I don't want to waste the time cooking. Anyway, okay. So she tried to get them to send her to Malta in search of her mixed race roots. Somewhere in the distant past, she recalled her grandmother Markle mentioned that her father's great Irish grandmother, Mary Bird, lived in Malta. Oh, maybe Malta's not Black, maybe it's white, with an English soldier called Thomas Bird. They married, and a child was born in Malta in 1862. To give the story greater attention, Mary Bird was said to have been employed as a cook in 1856 in the Windsor Castle. Okay, are they all white? It's English soldier. I'm assuming it's white, especially back then. Okay, so far no mixed race. Okay. Hartman had no reason to question Meghan or her suggestion that she travel to Malta with Gina Nelthorpe Cown. Elle Magazine arranged with the Maltese Tourism Authority that in exchange for a free trip, Meghan's published article would not only describe Meghan's origins on the island, but also promote the local food, wine, and beaches, and be the backdrop for a fashion shoot. She's like, I mean, give her credit. I mean, I don't know how people are buying it, and but she keeps pushing and getting her way. I just want to travel and I want to eat delectable Michelin star food and then put on expensive clothes that are going to be purchased for her and that she'll probably keep as well, and take photos of myself. Her favorite thing to do. Unbelievable. This trip, wrote Mogan. This trip, I can't speak this evening. This trip, wrote Meghan soon after, was mostly about trying to understand where I came from, my identity. There is something so lovely about fitting in a piece of the puzzle. Meghan also posted, before I came, people were telling me, when you go to Malta, everyone will look like you. And I started to say, oh my gosh, I do sort of blend in, and it's the loveliest feeling. Okay, somebody do me a favor and look up Malta, or maybe you guys all know. Maybe it's just me. I've just heard of Malta as like an exotic place people would take a trip to, but I know nothing about it. I've never looked into it. What is the demographic makeup of Malta, especially in the 1800s? But I'm trying to figure out why she would look like the people of Malta. Is everyone in Malta mixed race? Or are they just, I don't know, kind of like a olive tone skin or something? I don't know. I'm trying to put two and two together. Here we go. Wendy's Front Yard says 20, let me click on it. 2021 census in Malta indicates that 89.1% of the population identifies as Caucasian. That's pretty white. Okay. So it's 90% white. That's more than America, isn't it? Okay. Oh, our late lovely Queen and Prince Philip honeymooned in Malta. Okay. Very interesting. Malta's really rich now. This is why I haven't planned to go there. It's never come up on the radar when I'm putting in guidelines of countries I want to go to and how much to pay for things. It just didn't even come my way, nor did Turks and Caicos or southern part of France. Okay. That's why she wants to go, because it's really rich now. So the Maltese ancestry includes influences from southern Italy, southern Mediterranean, Greece, Normans, and some Arab ancestry connected to southern Italy. Yep, very white. So why is this going to look like her? Is she's trying to embrace her white? We'll read on. Maybe it'll explain. Oh my gosh, I do sort of blend in. It's the loveliest feeling. Why does she blend into Malta more than she does America? This is what I want to know. Okay. What is the percentage of, somebody look that up too. What is the percentage of Caucasians in America? I don't even know what it is. My guess is it's lower than 90%, but I might be wrong. To Nelthorpe Cown's surprise, the moment they landed on the island, Meghan decided against finding her white ancestry. Oh my gosh. That was not surprising. Meghan had no, quote, ancestry in Malta. The 19th century soldier Thomas Bird married Mary McHugh in Donnybrook, Dublin, in January of 1860, clearly excluding any employment in the Windsor Castle. Oh, if you're from Ireland, you can't work in the, well, you know, I guess those two countries are sort of at odds, I guess. But I didn't realize that, like, if you have Irish descent, that you are excluded from employment in the Windsor Castle. Because they have Scottish people, but I guess Scotland is part of the, I mean, I'm not part of, it's part of the UK, but there's like, somehow it's connected to the British Empire, because I know they have castles in Scotland. That's where Balmoral is, right? In Scotland. Yeah, so there must be, Scotland must be part of the Commonwealth. That's my guess. Maureen Phillison. Joni, thank you. 60% white in the United States. 90% white in Malta. And she feels like she looks like her ancestors. And this is her trying to embrace her biracial heritage. This is crazy. She is a piece of work. Not to mention, she conned everybody. She told everybody that her ancestry was from Malta. And as soon as she got there, she just stopped. She just didn't even try to look, because she knew she wanted a free trip to Malta and a photo op. And I'm sure she took the photos and posted it on her Instagram, but she didn't have any ancestry story to share along with it. It's crazy. This is crazy. This is her being crazy, because who would do such a thing? Obviously you're going to get caught. I think this woman really, that's a sign of a narcissist, isn't it? Somebody who thinks they're above it all and who thinks they're never going to get caught, who thinks they're smarter than everyone. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Ireland. Thank you, Carol. Ireland is part of it's part of the United Kingdom. Southern Ireland isn't part of the United Kingdom. Oh, so maybe this person was, did it say this person was from Southern Ireland? I don't think it identified either way. So she had no ancestry. 19th century soldier Thomas Bird married Mary McHugh in Donnybrook, Dublin, which clearly excluded employment. Okay, look up Donnybrook, Dublin. Well, Dublin. Is Dublin Northern or Southern Ireland? I'm so sorry, I don't know. Interesting that Dublin actually has it's separated. It's like a city of a city. Donnybrook, Dublin, Ireland. Dublin is in the south. There you go. Thank you, Carol. Okay. So her ancestors were from Southern Ireland. Boy, did the royal family know that? They are not part of the UK. So just because it's part of the UK, is that why there's a castle? Or do all the countries, here's another, Maureen, I'm sorry. I don't know this stuff, and I figured somebody else might want to know it too. Is the castle in Scotland there simply because it's part of the UK, / does all of the UK embrace the royal family as their royal family? I was thinking it was just the Commonwealth, but maybe they're not, because that's not considered the Commonwealth, is it? Those countries? Because there's a whole lot of countries, aren't there? Aren't there like 30 of them? A lot of them are real little, but there's a whole bunch of, Canada, but then South Africa and, Bahamas. Those are the only two I really know, but I know there's a whole bunch of them. So Dublin is in Ireland, Belfast, okay. Dublin is in the southern part. Okay, so do let me know, Maureen. I'm a little confused by that, about the royal family, I thought they were the head of the church for England only. And then all these Commonwealth countries that are spattered all around. But I never thought of any other country in the UK as being part of the Commonwealth. But I might be wrong. Yes, Jenny, and the Commonwealth. Wait, what do you mean, and the Commonwealth? So all of the UK is considered part of the Commonwealth? Is that right? See, I didn't know that. I always thought it was just all those other little countries. I thought these were all separate, but I guess it would make sense, because why else? They rule over England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales. I didn't know that. So all those countries are really paying in to support the royal family then. It's not just England. I always thought it was always just England. You live and learn. See, this is the beauty of this book. We are having a history lesson here. Government lesson, whatever you might want to call it. And if all of you knew that, I apologize for taking this time, especially because we have to get through 3 chapters. But I did not know that. Okay. Yeah, no, I know there's a ton of castles that are not part of the royal family, but Balmoral is in Scotland, and it is the residence of, it's like isn't it Princess Charles's sort of retreat, like one of his favorite places to go to get away, and maybe all their favorite places to go to get away, I thought. Okay. We are all part of the Commonwealth. He is our king. Huh. Northern Ireland is considered British. My ex is from Belfast. He's a British subject, and they have British passports. The South is considered Irish, and you have an Irish passport. Well, that's good to know too. I knew they really function very separately, but I didn't know that the top is really just considered British. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Okay, thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. I do. See, that's the kind of stuff he should put in the book. He's assuming he's writing to Brits. It's us Americans. This is new. Well, I shouldn't say that. This American. All right. Okay, so she decided against finding her white ancestry, although she looked like everybody there. That's amazing. Oh my gosh, I do sort of blend in. It's the loveliest feeling, is her quote. Ugh. Meghan had no ancestry in Malta. Thomas Bird married Mary Q in Dublin, excluding employment in the Windsor Castle. So also didn't work in the Windsor. On top, it's like 2 lies. It's like she doesn't do her homework. She like finds a little bit and says, "Oh, I'll claim that as my own. I'll claim that story for myself," and thinks that nobody has the ability to cross-reference and verify. It's crazy. Okay. Bird was posted with his wife to India and briefly to Malta. So he was posted there. Okay. Soon after a son was born, they moved to Canada, where Thomas died. So Thomas Bird died in Canada. So he briefly was in India and briefly in Malta, and then moved to Canada. Mary remarried and became Mary White. Thomas Markle would dispute that his mother ever conjured the story about the Markles' connection to Malta. Did Meghan, Nelthorpe Cowan later wondered, ever intend to look for her ancestors? She doubted it. Everything she does is carefully curated and forensically planned. The sensitive soul searching for her roots was replaced by what Nell Thorpe Cowan identified as the businesswoman first and foremost. Money, Nell Thorpe Cowan concluded, was Meghan's priority. Oh, so this Northrop Cowan, so hard to say, woman who kind of functioned as her, let me get you things to do. I thought she was from London, but I'm not 100% sure, is on to Meghan. Well, she is right now anyway. I mean, how do you say all that? Go to bat for the girl, go to the government and ask for a free trip for you and her. So your neck is on the line too, giving this story, and then get there. And then she just is like, no, I'm not going to go look for it. And then she realized, oh, she made it all up. Unbelievable. During the trip, visiting restaurants and vineyards, Kurt Arrigo, a well-known local photographer hired by the Maltese Tourism Authority, photographed Meghan in numerous locations with endless changes of clothes. During those days, Meghan spoke to Gina about branding herself as a foodie, as a beauty and fashion expert, and as an advocate of wellness. I mean, this woman, she's just throwing darts at a board, right? She is trying to claim racism now. She's trying to claim her long-standing biracial heritage, which isn't. She's first-generation biracial. She is trying now to also be a foodie and a beauty expert and a fashion expert and a wellness expert. Oh, and she wants to work for the UN and represent the United States in government. Like, she is, talk about somebody who has no clue who she is or even what she wants to be other than famous and wealthy. That's all. She's trying to just darts at a board. We'll see which one lands and we'll go with that one. Sickening, really. During her time in Malta, she did not speak about race or politics, nor her father. And she never mentioned Serena Williams and all the other celebrities she claimed to be friends with on her website. Why would she mention Serena? I don't even know why she would, but at any rate, apparently there was a reason. A little more information would have been nice right there. Okay. On their return to London, Meghan told Nell Thorpe Cowan, what is that woman's first name? Why do we have to keep using her last name? I swear. I'm going to write down, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to find Nell Thorpe Cowan's first name. And every time I see that, I'll write it on a Post-it note. Every time I see that written here, I'm going to say her first name. Okay, so Meghan tells Nell Thorpe Cowan, you're really special for me. We have a special friendship. By then, Thorpe Cowan admitted to herself, I had fallen under Meghan's spell, as everyone did. Not only did she exude warmth and sincerity, but she made you feel like you were the only person in the world that mattered. She's a girl's girl, and we had shared many stories. Unfortunately for the Maltese Tourism Authority, Meghan's published article in Elle made no mention of Malta. She took a free trip. I mean, she couldn't talk about her heritage, but she made no mention of Malta. How's that even possible? The island's restaurants, wines, and beaches were also forgotten. Arrigo's photographs were not used. This is crazy. This is crazy. In a well-written article for the magazine headlined, Meghan Markle, I'm more than an other. More than an other. Meghan introduced what she called the dichotomy of being mixed race in response to Elle's invitation to share my story. I just don't even have words. Although it was her own initiative to tell her story, she wrote, "I'll be honest, I was scared." While she had previously hinted in social media about her background, today I am choosing to be braver, to go a bit deeper, and to share a much bigger picture of that with you. She retold the familiar three stories: the Barbie dolls, the school questionnaire ethnicity box, and the student at Northwestern commenting about her background. She complained about this world of not fitting in and of harboring my emotions so tightly under my ethnicity, nondescript and not so thick skin, asserting that she was an outsider occupying a murky area, a haze around how people connected with me, she concluded. While my mixed heritage may have created a gray area surrounding my self-identification, keeping on both sides of the fence, I have come to embrace that, to voice my pride in being a strong, confident, mixed race woman. I dislike this woman a lot right now. I really do. Curiously, while she mentioned in a TIG post in 2015 traveling to Malta at Elle's request, the reference to Elle was removed in 2017. She took the reference to Elle off the TIG website. The Elle article was used by Nell Thorpe-Cowan as leverage to invite 30 potential buyers of Meghan the brand to Home House, a private members club in central London. Meghan appeared in a discussion with Emmanuel Jal, a Sudanese child soldier and musician, speaking about feminism and women's empowerment. She did not mention race. The result was disappointing. The audience dismissed her as uninteresting. L'Oreal and all the other cosmetic firms had rejected the invitation to feature Meghan as the face of their brand. The only glimmer of hope was an offer of a possible contract from a lesser-known Swiss watchmaker. In the post-mortem, Meghan was not keen to hear the bad news. Nell Thorpe-Cowan promised to keep trying. Depending on the question, Meghan had either hit a roadblock or reached a crossroads in her career. John Fitzpatrick came to the rescue. He invited Meghan to the St. Patrick's Day reception on the 17th of March, 2015, at the White House. My mother used to always say, not always, she said it once, but at any rate, I had a couple things worked out my way right around the time I was going to college. And she goes, you can fall into shit and come out smelling like roses. I was like, not really, but thanks. I don't know. Anyway, here's a classic example. She's striking out, and doing everything wrong. And yet, opportunity after opportunity after opportunity keeps falling in this girl's lap. The previous night, Fitzpatrick had hosted an annual American Ireland's Fund dinner for 200 Irish and American celebrities. Fitzpatrick's description of his relationship with Meghan appeared to be accurate. Quote, she was dating a celebrity chef, which was on and off, and she was kind of seeing someone. He continued, officially, I was not dating her. We were best friends. To a fanfare, Meghan entered the White House with Fitzpatrick, a truly exciting moment for every American. This is my friend Meghan. Do you know her? Fitzpatrick asked Ryan Tubridy, a popular Irish radio and TV host. She also met Stephanie Roche, probably, then a Houston Dash football player, with whom she would later open the city's Irish consulate. Her most memorable introduction was to Barack Obama. The president had walked over to meet Fitzpatrick and spoke to Meghan. She was over the moon, says Fitzpatrick. From the White House, the couple drove to the Willard Hotel, Fitzpatrick's headquarters. A handful of important Irish power brokers had been invited to his reception before going on to the Irish ambassador's residence for a night of partying. To Fitzpatrick's surprise, over 30 friends arrived. He asked Meghan to help serve drinks. She got behind the bar, he recalled with fondness. Thanks to Fitzpatrick, Meghan returned to Toronto invigorated about her future. In March of 2015, Meghan had good reason to believe she was on an upwards trajectory. Not only was she meeting the Democratic Party's aristocracy, but with Hillary Clinton's support, Elizabeth, that lady, had agreed that she could address a UN Women Conference in New York. That week, UN Women were hosting two conferences. The principal conference for VIPs, addressed the previous year by Emma Watson, was held at the UN headquarters. A second meeting for children and minor personalities was held on the 10th of March at an off-Broadway theater. That woman told Meghan that she could speak at the second conference as a UN women's advocate for women's leadership and political participation. One keynote speaker would be Priyanka Chopra, the Indian actress and a former Miss World. Others addressing the 2,000-person audience would be the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and Hillary Clinton. I'm wondering when we're going to get to Clinton. Although Meghan's name did not feature in the press release or the program's publicity, Meghan invited her mother for the most important event of my life. She planned to emulate Emma Watson's stardom as a feminist. She would claim to have been inspired to become an actress by Julia Roberts. In her brief address, Meghan fluently recited the story of her childhood protest to Procter & Gamble. In reply, she received from Hillary Clinton and how single-handedly she had changed Procter & Gamble's campaign. It was at that moment that I realized the magnitude of my actions. At the age of 11, I had created my small level of impact by standing up for equality. No one doubted her plausible self-congratulation. Could you imagine just listening to that? Somebody getting up there and just talking about what they did and how great they are? I'd be like, even if it's a great person, you can have like a Chris Pratt or, famous people up there, and they start talking about how great they are and what they did. I'd be like, a little humility goes a long way. But who's she? I mean, she's a nobody, and she's talking about how great she is. I don't know. After the acclaim for her achievement, she denounced the low representation of women in parliaments. Referring to her visit to Rwanda, she said, I've always wanted to be a woman who works, and this type of work is what feeds my soul and fuels my purpose. More contentious was her praise for President Kagame. She said about a man accused of atrocities, quote, "We need more men like that." Oh, gosh. She repeated Emma Watson's feminist statements. I am so proud, she continued, to be a woman and a feminist. And this evening, I am extremely proud to stand before you on the significant day, which serves as a reminder to all of us how far we've come. But also, amid celebration, a reminder of the road ahead. Did Emma Watson say that? There's a word salad right there, too. Blah, 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 stating the obvious. The audience enthusiastically applauded. Ban Ki-moon stood and shook her hand. In the aftermath, Meghan described the event as a watershed in her life. Over the following years, many got the impression she had spoken in the United Nations General Assembly's auditorium alongside Emma Watson. I wonder how they got that impression. Because that's what she would say. Few realized that Watson did not speak to the UN that year and that Meghan had addressed a sideshow audience. Off-Broadway theater. Soon afterwards, Meghan urged Elizabeth to introduce her to Emma Watson. Elizabeth refused. Never deterred, Meghan and asked Elizabeth to promote her to UN ambassador. The person with three names, the South African dictator. Director. I was going to say dictator. The South African director of UN Women was doubtful. Meghan's cause could not have been helped by giving the impression to some people, while she did speak about politics, philosophy, and ideology, her apparent all-consuming passion for the empowerment of women was in reality focused on self-promotion and the empowerment of Meghan Markle. Whatever the reason, Elizabeth refused Meghan's request to be promoted to ambassador. Meghan resigned from he for she and cut her ties with UN Women. She threw a temper tantrum. Yet, remarkably, despite the unpublicized split, she continued to cite publicly her UN Women experience as proof of her philanthropy. Outsiders never glimpsed the truth about this rupture or the reasons. In Meghan's mind, both UN officials had underestimated her importance. By then, the Tiggs posts were attracting nearly 1 million followers on Instagram. How'd she get that? Good for her, I guess. And she had over 250,000 followers on Twitter. Having passed the milestone of 1,000 posts on the TIG, she was finally a self-made businesswoman. As an influencer, dependent on freebies, clothes, and loans and payments for product promotions, she earned fees by endorsing several well-known brands. Bobbi Brown Makeup, Lanvin Fashion, never heard of it. Centelier Coats, never heard of it. And Rittmans. Or is it Reitmans? Should be Reitmans, but I think it's Rittmans. I don't know. I've seen that before. Is that a department store? I don't know. Anyway, Toronto's it's Reitmans. Toronto's leading mid-market fashion it went on. I forget how he stops, goes over. I thought that was the end of the sentence. Okay. Reitmans, Toronto's leading mid-market fashion retailer. Okay. Accompanied by attractive photographs of herself, she successfully featured a pink blusher called Orgasm, herself in bed with her two dogs, Bogart and Guy, described as Nuggets and her tag team, and described foreign travel with friends and visits to restaurants. Citing Amanda Chantal Bacon and Gwyneth Paltrow, she vigorously recommended moon dust, a blend of herbs, plant extracts, and minerals to vigorously enhance your beauty, brain, body, sexual energy, sleep, and spirit. Oh my goodness. If there's any one thing that does all that, I'll give you $1 million. No. Okay. But whatever. She applauded. ashwagandha as a root which aids the thyroid. She forgot to add that the root was endorsed by Kama Sutra to improve sexual satisfaction. Occasionally, she mentioned that while walking in the nearby park, her dogs attracted admirers. To personalize the TIG, the promotions were enhanced by Meghan's recollections. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, a California girl who lives by the ethos that most things can be cured with either yoga, the beach, or a few avocados. Talk about horrible advice. I'm being cheeky, clearly. She referred to her hippy-dippy California girl sensibility of all things clean and green. She described herself as opinionated, driven, and with a deep desire to affect change. Regretfully, she said, I am not very tall, so when I wear a short skirt, I've got to be really conscious. Being yourself is the prettiest thing a person can be. When you're short, you have to be really conscious of wearing short skirts? I guess. Didn't know. Making a virtue of single life in Toronto, she presented herself on YouTube as a great cook, enjoying Spanish, Italian, and other local restaurants. To keep fit, she ran 6 miles a day, did hot yoga, and platinum Pilates, and liked acupuncture and cupping. Oh, that cupping looks like it hurts. I have no desire to do that. Unless the doctor told me it would be really great for me and I should, but otherwise, She started the day with a cup of hot water with a slice of lemon. Oh, she's Cody Brown. It's a narcissism thing. Some steel-cut oats mixed with almonds, bananas, agave syrup, and soy milk, and then grabbed a smoothie. Loaded with sugar. I don't know. Being a humanitarian and a global citizen dedicated to women's self-empowerment and opposed to Brexit and Donald Trump, she advised, travel often. Get lost will help you find yourself. Oh, getting lost. Getting lost will help you find yourself. Getting help will get you frustrated. It's fine if you want to travel, but this whole find yourself stuff anyway. I don't know why all these kids keep losing themselves. It's the problem. You got to look into why you lost yourself and fix that. Don't go travel to find yourself. As for herself, she trilled about her glittering career to fulfill her genuine desire to use her fame to make the world a better place. The proof of influence, she claimed, was her friendship with so many celebrities. As a world-class networker, Meghan enjoyed flashing names on the TIG. There were frequent mentions of meeting Serena Williams. She was proud of her friend Millie McIntosh, the Quality Street heiress, and Made in Chelsea star, whom she had met in Soho farmhouse. And after a recent dinner of pasta and vegan ragu, she classed her close friend Rory McIlroy as not just the real deal. He is real, courteous, class, and ever so talented. In the run-up to the 2016 presidential elections, she also praised her friend Ivanka Trump as staggeringly beautiful, but so incredibly savvy and intelligent that she's not just carved a niche for herself under her father's famed Trump notoriety. She's undoubtedly created her own empire. It's so easy to knock girls who come from privilege, but I always remember Ivanka being different. To overcome her misfortune of not knowing sufficient celebrities, she name-checked those she had never met, including Elizabeth Hurley. Thanks, Liz, for making me aspire to act like a lady and feel like a woman. And similarly, Heidi Klum. The most beautiful woman I have ever seen, like the kind of chick you would want to grab a drink with. She was careful not to mention the personalities she met through John Fitzpatrick. The Clintons and the American Irish set would not welcome gushing references on her blog. Her relationship with Fitzpatrick remained secret. Corey Vitiello remained invisible. Oh, help me out. It's Corey Vitiello. He's the chef, right? She never mentioned. Can I just say, she is never friends with your average Joe looking girl. She only befriends strikingly beautiful, gorgeous, hot, model-like girls. You never see her with anyone average. God forbid you see her with somebody who is below average. No. That speaks volumes in and of itself. She is a criteria for who she wants to be seen with. There was a downside. Toronto was not the most natural place to meet international celebrities regularly. Thanks to Corey's restaurants, she had become an expert on food, and through Suits' expensive wardrobe, she had become a fashionista. Through Corey, she had weaved her way into the city's rhythms, but Jessica Mulroney was a source of even better introductions. The ambitious networker had given Meghan an opportunity to meet Canada's establishment, the Thompsons, Westons, and Rogers. None, however, could provide the breakthrough she wanted beyond Canada. Hollywood fame remained elusive. Okay, that's the end of the chapter that's entitled Hillary. I feel like we barely mentioned Hillary. Did I miss a page? I don't know why he titled that Hillary. Just a lot of, I want to be famous should have been the title of that chapter. All right. Watershed. This one's shorter. I was like, boy, if they're all that long, I knew we said that's an hour and a half it took. Why? Well, I did a little bit of chatting. We had a history lesson. My apologies. We'll move on. Watershed. No idea what this is about. Among Hollywood's players, Lori Sale is a feisty, fast-speaking, well-known agent, famous for securing marketing and branding contracts for her clients. In early 2015, Rick Genau, a Hollywood entertainment lawyer, contacted Sale. The lawyer explained that he represented Meghan Markle, the actress and the host of The Tig. Could Sale, he asked, secure a brand contract for his client, who was based in Toronto? Sale had never heard of Meghan or Suits. See, people, it's not just me. I'm not trying to throw digs. Just speaking the truth. Didn't know the girl. It's so funny. I was driving in the car today too, and I started thinking, had I heard of the show Suits before Meghan Markle? I can't 100% say I did. I feel like I did. But now it's been so many years. Like I say, I've never saw a promo for it. I never saw a commercial for it. How would I have heard of it? I don't know. It's on a channel I never watched. Don't even know where it is. I assume I have. I don't even know if I have it in my cable subscription. And yes, I have a cable subscription, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, all right. Sale had never heard of Meghan or Suits, but concluded that even an ensemble actor on a cable show who was a minor celebrity could be placed. After meeting the actress, Sale pitched her new client to Janine something Miller, the head of marketing at Reitmans, Canada's largest women's clothing retailer. The 90-year-old business offered inexpensive clothes through its 700 stores to an aging and declining clientele. It's not like a big get or anything. Sale's call came just as Miller was pondering who should front their campaign to re-energize their brand. The idea of Meghan Markle, the young fashion-savvy celebrity, as a brand ambassador had already been raised by Mark Lanuet, an executive at Tank, the store's advertising agency. In the midst of Suits' successful 5th season, Meghan had already persuaded the store to promote their clothes on the TIG. Accordingly, Sale was pushing at an open door to negotiate a 2-year contract to start in June 2015. For 9 days' work, filming the commercial, photo shoots, the launch and TV promotion, Meghan would be paid $162,000. Plus 7-cent royalties on the sale of all of the products associated with her campaign. This was a watershed moment for Meghan. No serious Hollywood star she knew would associate herself with Reitman's, a brand whose clothes cost under 100 Canadian dollars or under 60 pounds. And for only $15,000 a day. Oh, how horrible. A job that paid under $15,000 a day. After income tax and agent's commission, she would be left with half that amount. Oh, $7,000 a day. Why is she even considering? I don't know. She longed to be the face of Ralph Lauren, not Reitman's. That choice eluded her. At least no one outside Canada would see the campaign. Filming started on the 6th of August. Meghan checked into Montreal's Ritz Hotel. Of course she did. A list of demands preceded her. She requested in her room and on location green juices, vegetables, and high-end bottled water. Evian and Fiji were rejected in favor of a designer brand. Good Lord, it's water. I think Fiji and Evian is just fine. The 2-day shoot went well, but ended on a sour note. The car to take her back to the airport was not booked. Can you imagine? Meghan exploded, but she made her flight. The campaign, TV commercials, billboards, and social media, was estimated to have increased Reitman's sales by over 15%. The company told Sale they would use Meghan the following year. Meghan had a good reason to feel semi-successful. The TIG, UN Women, and Reitman's had given her a sense of achievement, but it wasn't enough. As she had said about Rachel Zane's constant struggle to survive and succeed at the beginning of season 5, amid the conflicts of emotions and divided loyalties when Mike Ross is convicted of fraud, Rachel's just not willing to cave. She never gives up. She might be in love, but this won't put her off her endgame. Hard graft had secured an advance in Meghan's career. I don't know what graft is. It's not a word we use in America. Hard, like stick-to-itness, or like determination, maybe? Anyway. Secured in advance in Meghan's career. The downside was that every small success was accompanied by disappointment on a bigger stage. Hollywood repeatedly rejected her. The previous year, casting director Anna Kennedy had invited Meghan to audition in Los Angeles. Reg Travis, a British director, was looking for a female lead for Antisocial, a gritty crime thriller based in London, wilting in the Los Angeles heat. Travis was instantly impressed by the cool, charming Meghan. Booked for the film, she arrived in London amid acrimony that her demand for first-class transatlantic fares and luxury accommodations had been rejected. Travis complained that she was unhelpful in every way during the shoot. Greg Sulkin, her younger co-star, also discovered that despite their close relationship, Meghan was high maintenance. The omens for when the film was completed in 2015 were bad. Just the omens were bad. Sometimes they put sentences in here that I think are unnecessary. We'll go on. During the same trip to London, she went with Gina Nelthorpe Count. Gina. Sorry, let me write it down so I don't forget. Henceforth and forevermore, I shall call Norththorpe Count Gina. So much better. Put in parentheses Norththorpe Count so I know why I wrote Gina on this piece of paper. Gina. That's going to cut a whole hour out of our entire book reading. Gotta slow down and try to pronounce that last name. Okay. During that same trip to London, she went with Gina to a small meeting addressed by Emma Watson, her hero and role model. At the end, she asked to meet Watson. The actress rejected her request. The snub was mortifying. In hindsight, Gina was not surprised. Watson's rebuff was not mentioned when Meghan described her UN role in the TIG. I was in London, she wrote to her followers, to support Emma Watson in her He for She initiative for UN women. Meghan's skill was to conceal setbacks, even describing Elizabeth as my mentor. The Hollywood lesson was ingrained. Never admit rejection, keep positive, and just keep on trying. She has a magical way of talking around something and making it sound so much better than it is without outright lying. There were two examples here earlier. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but there were two examples earlier of writing something in. Oh, it's like talking about the people that she never met as if she met them. Because she'll talk about like how amazing, and she'll talk about who she met and her relationship to him, and then slide into how much she also admires, and then talk about Heidi Klum and Gwyneth Paltrow as if they too were friends, just like the previous people she mentioned. It's kind of brilliant, but very deceptive. Very. It's a lie. Let's face it. It's a lie. Okay. The reality of her life in 2015 was a struggle to get on and stay on the fast-moving carousel. Her imperative was to earn more money. She needed a breakthrough. With Lori Sale's help, she did secure a succession of sponsored appearances. Lunch with Cable Telecommunications in Chicago, mentioned her name in Marchesa Voyage for Shop Style, appearances at events for Air Canada, Equinox, at a self-esteem project on International Girls' Day hosted by Dove in Toronto. For $40,000, Meghan was expected by Dove to arrive, do a social pose, and speak prominently to Dove's delegates. One unpaid highlight of the merry-go-round was Marcus Anderson's invitation to celebrate the opening of Soho House in Istanbul. Endlessly posing for photographs with other guests, she was disappointed that unlike the celebrities at the party, She was not named in the pictures published by the media because nobody knows who she is. Meghan's anonymity beyond Toronto was irritating for her. Even the Swiss watch manufacturer was no, not K-Swiss. Those were the tennis shoes. What was the Swiss watch with the cross? The red cross on it. That's the only watch manufacturer I know, but they're not referring to that. They said before, didn't they say like an off-brand or a little less known? I don't know. They won't put the name in here. Okay, her was irritating. Even the Swiss watch manufacturer was still considering whether to hire Meghan. In a bid to persuade the chief executive, she and Gina waited in a London hotel lounge to perform another pitch. She was done up to the nines, looking stunning, observed Gina. Meghan asked a waiter for a specialty tea. Served in a German-style mug, Meghan looked at the tankard familiar in a beer festival and exclaimed, "I can't have this. This is just not on brand. Take it back." The waiter returned with a china cup and saucer. The meeting ended without a contract. She thinks she can act like that in front of somebody she's trying to impress. Clueless. Weeks later, she returned to London to watch a rough cut of Antisocial. "It's awful," a friend told her at the end of the private viewing. "It's really bad and an embarrassment for you." Meghan agreed that the film, her 13th brief appearance, was best buried. She refused to give up. "I've never wanted to be a lady who lunches," she said sincerely. Earning money was her priority. Thomas Markle had noticed the change in his daughter. Ever since he had contributed to Meghan's wedding, he'd been short of money. Meghan had offset his problems by part financing the purchase of a new car, and the rest was paid by a loan, and helped him move home. His latest written request provoked a phone call from Toronto. "I've checked with Andrew," said Meghan, referring to her business manager, "and I've given you $20,000 over the last 2 years. "I'm shocked you're keeping such a close track of the money," sputtered Thomas, reeling that she knew to the last dime how much she had given him, compared to the £500,000 he had spent on her education. He said, "The $20,000 is a spit in the bucket." Meghan remained silent, but her anger was obvious. Her suggestion that Thomas fly to Toronto was rejected by him. On his fixed income, he could not afford the fare. The cooling relationship and his unwillingness to visit Canada sealed Meghan's arrangements for Christmas 2015. The holiday would be spent with Corey Vitello's family. That's sick. That's just, first of all, she didn't even like this Corey guy. She's like flitting around, going on dates with everybody else. Corey's clueless. She will never mention Corey in her blog at all. She uses them to just meet other people. And then her father, who didn't do anything wrong to her ever, but love her and give her a ton of money. She's already starting to just cut off. Why? There's no reason why. Sick. Joanne Vitello hosted her large family with the hope that her son and Meghan would soon marry. Meghan ticked all her boxes. Very smart, very bright, very caring, very sincere, she said. Joanne Vitello had not mentioned the strains in the relationship. Corey was weary of Meghan's prima donna behavior. Entering restaurants, she demanded a special table, the entitlement of every famous actress, and her name dropping whenever she returned from New York was becoming insufferable. You're not Nicole Kidman, he snapped at her. There was also her apparent unwillingness to allow any publicity about their relationship. Asked by a magazine to name 5 people she would invite to a dinner party, she mentioned American chefs Anthony Bourdain. Oh, Anthony Bourdain. Isn't he the one that used to travel and do food stuff? I think. And Mario Batali, and Oliver, and a girlfriend, not Corey. Irritatingly, she was even appearing as a celebrity guest on the Food Network show Chopped Jr. as an expert praising the real sort of farm fresh to table food that reminded her of what she had eaten growing up in California. Corey had been used to secure that appearance. I think there's a typo in there, but felt unthanked for his help. Meghan's homily that kindness was negotiable appeared to have been forgotten. For his part, although unhappy, Corey was incapable of ending the relationship. In private, Meghan could not conceal her own impatience. And now Rwanda. Meghan Markle's second visit to Rwanda in January of 2016 was markedly different than her first trip. To Meghan's good fortune, Matt Hassel, KBS's creative director in Toronto, responsible for UN Women campaign, had fallen under her spell. Shocking. Some would even say he was besotted by her. When an evangelical Christian charity, World Vision Canada, told Hassel about its search for a celebrity to promote its work in Rwanda, he insisted that Meghan was ideal to represent an evangelical Christian ministry. They lost their mind. Laura Dewar, World Vision Canada's chief marketing officer and a Suits fan, the series had now been running for 5 years, was also enthusiastic. Remind me to never donate to World Vision. I think they do good stuff, though. But my goodness, talk about poor decision making. Meghan, she agreed, could be titled an ambassador. Brenda Serminski's KBS's producer called Meghan. Within 30 minutes, the actress had agreed to travel to Rwanda to promote the World Vision's project to build water wells in destitute villages. This would be some revenge after the negativity of the UN executives. Serminsky would produce the film of her visit. Difficulties arose soon after Meghan had signed the contract, and Serminsky began to plan the trip. The actress insisted on flying to Rwanda first class and to be accompanied by Gabor Jurina, a Canadian fashion photographer. Michael Goyette, an American hair and makeup stylist, was also listed as traveling with Gabor. "Only Michael," exclaimed Meghan, "knows how to work with my black hair." Naturally curly, she had used a treatment called keratin to create her hair's silky straight look. Meghan's demand sent the cost well above the budget. Serminsky, the film's producer, World Vision decided, could no longer travel to Rwanda. The producer couldn't go. In 2 air-conditioned minivans, Meghan and her team of 3 World Visioning market executives, a Canadian cameraman, plus an advertising accountant executive, and several suitcases containing a selection of fashion outfits were driven for 90 minutes from Kigali's best 5-star hotel to Gashora. For generations, the village women and children had walked every day several miles to fill their jerry cans in a dirty river. The result was constant illness. The commissioning of a well financed by World Vision to deliver fresh water was a major event marked by Meghan's arrival in January of 2016. To the villagers' surprise, after Meghan was filmed with the children playing under the clean water bursting from the tap, she disappeared with Gabor Jarina. For hours, Jarina photographed the perfectly coiffed actress hugging, squeezing, and smiling with the village children. Each pose was followed by a change of clothing. Meghan is a true humanitarian, Laura DeWar would say. Speaking of Meghan's authenticity, DeWar praised her involvement with the children, letting them sit on her lap for a photographer. Oh, please. Who is going to be a representative of World Vision and not allow a child to sit on their lap? Like it's a feather in the woman's cap or something. Good Lord. Once she returned to the village, Meghan was filmed admiring children painting images of their lives on paper supplied by the charity. The watercolor project, conceived by Matt Hassel's staff, illustrated the value of the charity's work to supply clean water. Strangely, DeWar would wrongly claim that Meghan was the creator of the project. Throughout the 4-day trip, Meghan was impeccably considerate to the accompanying team. She ensured there would be no repeat of her UN experience. Back in Toronto, Meghan hosted a party to raise funds for another well. Thanks to her, the Mulroneys and other Toronto stars came to Loomis, a downtown gallery, to see the children's paintings. Their money, Meghan exclaimed to the guests, would allow more village children to go to school rather than spend their day carrying water. I mean, that all sounds good. Let's go on. This water is not just a life source for this community. This water is not just a life source for this community, Meghan said in the video's commentary, but can really be a source for creative imagination and dreaming and hoping for something even greater than they can even imagine. You'll feel really good at the end of the day knowing that you've been a part of that. Her efforts that evening raised 15,000 Canadian dollars, about 9,000 pounds, enough to build another well. The box was ticked. At the end, Serminsky was puzzled. Celebrities using a desolate African village as the backdrop for fashion shoots was mind-blowing. Meghan, she concluded, had opportunistically orchestrated the trip to pose as a philanthropist. Moreover, her ambitions were so obvious. She was on the path with visions of something good happening at the end, but her destination was unknown, end quote. Gabor Jarina posted the fashion photographs on his website. 8 months later, they would be more valuable. The Rwanda trip coincided with the end of the 5th season of Suits. The series climax was to be Rachel Zane on the verge of marrying Mike Ross. At the last moment, the script was changed. Ross went to prison for fraud and told Zane he could not marry her. Filming the 6th series had started, and Series 7 was about to be commissioned. Meghan's fee for Series 7 was increased to $175,000 per episode. Must be nice. And yet she's pitching a fit because she's not popular enough and not making enough money. She clearly doesn't know how to save. The star, Gabriel Mockett, who played Harvey Specter, was paid $500,000 per episode. Despite the reassurance of her improved fee, Meghan sensed that Rachel Zane's life was nearing an end. Few TV series even lasted 7 seasons, and the end would be sudden. Although that proved unduly pessimistic, the network commissioned another 2 seasons. Meghan was nervous about her professional fate. Once her contract ended, her acting career would need to be relaunched. Hollywood's traditions ruled that an actor's transition from TV to films was very difficult. Once the audience had identified an actor with one character, the actor needed an absence to restore their anonymity and then recapture the public interest. In Hollywood, George Clooney was hailed as virtually unique, a pathfinder for making a conspicuous success of that transition. Others, including Jennifer Aniston, would follow, but they had become global stars. Identified by the small audience as Rachel Zane, Meghan would struggle financially during a follow period while the same audience forgot about Zane. She could not expect much TV work, and her poor experience over the previous 5 years confirmed that Hollywood did not beckon. She needed to reassess her life. A break came during a trip to New York. To promote Suits, she reappeared on The Larry King Show. In a pre-prepared performance, she laid out her familiar presentation. First, her successful campaign against Procter & Gamble's advertisement, praise for President Kagame and her campaign to empower women. I want to be a feminist and also feminine. No matter how you look, you should be taken seriously. Just be true to yourself. The other sound bites repeated the Tig's messages of reassurance to women. You're more fabulous if you do something of value in this world. You must be kind to yourself. Talk to ourselves like we are our own best friend. You need to champion yourself. Portraying herself as modest, low cost, and undemanding, she revealed that she liked to take risks but was vulnerable and alone. I don't have a mentor. I need a lot of help. I don't have a sound box. Finally, she advised viewers, if it's worth 5 minutes, then give it 5 years. Well, she didn't do that with the royal family, did she? Few would have realized that she was repeating Trevor Engelson's pickup line. What she said was always so predictable. I forgot that was his pickup line. I just remember she had repeated it before. Okay. Once again, John Fitzpatrick afforded Meghan a welcome break from Toronto's routine. The 3-star Fitzpatrick Hotel in central Manhattan was not the type of venue where Meghan liked to be seen. In the midst of winter, she would prefer to have been holding her glass uptown in the Carlisle or the Mark. Brand Meghan was about top-end luxury in clothes, food, and travel. She made the exception because Fitzpatrick had become her passport to the heart of America's political establishment. There's an adjective, I don't know what it means. I will just skip it. The Irish-American philanthropist offered her chance to break the mold of her life in Toronto. On the 17th of February, 2016, Fitzpatrick was hosting another fundraiser for Hillary Clinton. 30 rich Irish Americans were enjoying themselves in his private apartment with Bill Clinton. No one was insulted that Hillary could not break off from her campaign. Many were also delighted that Fitzpatrick had invited Liam Neeson, the star of Michael Collins, a Hollywood drama about the Irish revolutionary leader. For Fitzpatrick, who supported a united Ireland, Neeson Collins was a hero. Eagerly, Meghan agreed to be photographed standing between Neeson and Fitzpatrick. She's always in the middle, always. To her misfortune, the badly lit photo failed to portray her beauty. Moreover, it spoke volumes of Meghan's insignificance that the Hollywood star would later insist that he had never met Meghan. Took a picture with her and everything. He insisted he'd never met her. Despite the photograph, his memory about Meghan was blank. Meghan remained forgettable, but she did not forget the event. Hanging out among the famous in Clinton's world was an incentive to move on. Soon after the New York visit, Meghan flew to the Cayman Islands. Gina had arranged for her to address a financial company's annual conference. Fixing the gig had been a hard sell. Meghan's main selling point was her low cost. As an unknown, her fee was $15,000 plus expenses. Little do you know, those are going to be $25,000 worth of expenses. And a business class air ticket. Her request for first class was rejected. Although Meghan could only make the same speech about women's rights that she had delivered to the UN in 2014 and every occasion since then, Gina promised a good performance. She kept giving the same speech over and over and over again. The same speech. She can't write anything new. No new thoughts. She's really passionate about this cause. Can't think of anything else to say. Once the contract was agreed, Meghan urged Gina to arrange for Jessica Mulroney to be included in the trip at the client's expense. She's my best friend, said Meghan, and I need her as my beautician and stylist. More important, Meghan needed Mulroney to provide a confidant's reassurance. Meghan's wish was granted. Throughout the trip, Meghan repeatedly asked Mulroney, "What shall I do after acting?" Meghan faced not only a professional challenge, but a personal crisis. At 35, she wanted children. Although Corey Vitiello was a good man and could be a good parent, he was deemed to be unsuitable as the father of Meghan's child. A chef with limited ambitions in a country which she perceived as unglamorous. Sorry, Canada. It's her words, not mine. I love Canada. Corey's horizons were too limited. There were only so many times you can discuss a recipe, a friend reported, echoing Meghan's sentiment. And then there is nothing else. Although it was Corey's social importance in Toronto that had propelled Meghan's status, the chef's value had dwindled. He could not further Meghan's ambitions. She wanted real celebrity, many millions of dollars, and personal glory. That's all. Her high-octane visits to New York sealed the fate of their relationship. After every trip, he cursed her ego as out-of-control starfucking. Probably should have said something else there. Okay. Anyway, that was a quote by Corey. She recoiled. For Meghan, life with Corey, as with Trevor, had become unfulfilling. She would, seems like that's happening with Harry right now. She would only live with Corey on her terms. After one divorce, she would avoid another mistake. Repeatedly, she asked a friend whether she should end the relationship because she revealed she no longer loved Corey. Attempts over the previous year to find a new boyfriend had floundered. On several occasions, she had swapped messages with Matt Cardle, a winner of the television show The X Factor, suggesting that they meet. Her attempts ended after Cardle met the woman he eventually married. Approaches to the other single celebrities while she lived with Corey remained unknown to the chef. Oh, she's a... Can you believe she's living with this man and she is... I can't think of the word. She's Well, she's trying to get another guy. Projecting's not the word. I don't know. My brain's not working today. Despite his suspicions, Corey tweeted that month, "I am so proud of my lady." Professionally, she remained on the same spot on the treadmill. World Vision had reappointed her as global ambassador, and she could also look forward to a second season filming her own Reitman's clothes collection. With her face across city billboards and on social media, she would be famous among Canadians. But as ever, that was not enough. I noticed when I was listening to somebody who is British talk the other day that he used "as ever" all the time. I didn't realize this was a British phrase. Meghan thinks she's British now. Her line is called "as ever." He used it a lot in his conversation too, and this guy just used it here. Okay. I want to be a success at home, she repeated during the Cayman trip. She feared that returning to Los Angeles would end in grief. Gina offered a solution. Come to London, she suggested. Meghan's best hope, Gina explained, was to break through in Britain and, on the strength of that success, bounce back to Los Angeles. I'll introduce you to Matthew Freud, said Gina, although she secretly feared that the well-established Freud's PR agency would not be interested in an unknown actress. Freud's could create your brand in Britain, continued Gina. The word brand triggered Meghan's interest. Okay, she agreed. But I don't want to stay long. I want to go back to Los Angeles. I want to be a success in Los Angeles, my home. There was another incentive. Moving to London would solve the Corey problem. The final break from him was delayed. Some members of the Suits team noticed that Meghan's tone during the filming of the 6th series was sharper, slightly aggressive. Reflecting her frustrated ambition, her prospects after the series were grinding to a halt. Other than the TIG, there was only The Game, an Australian coffee table book edited by Samantha Brett. 40 trailblazing women, including Meghan, had described their lives. Oh, it's not even a book she put out. She is one of 40 in the coffee table book. Do they even make coffee table books anymore? In her section, of course, they must. They should. They must. In her section, Meghan recalled as a schoolgirl helping at the soup kitchen on Los Angeles Skid Row, Maria Polia, her theology teacher, had told me that life is about putting others' needs above your own fears. Remember, that's okay. Is this all a quote? Is this like a quote within a quote? This is very confusing. In her section, Meghan recalled as a schoolgirl helping at the school kitchen in Los Angeles Skid Row, Maria Polia, her theology teacher, had told me that life is about putting others, that's the end of the quote, needs above your own fears. I think this is everything she's saying. Remember that someone needs us and that your act of giving, helping, doing can truly become an act of grace once you get out of your head. Her teacher's homily, she said, has stuck with me my whole life. My whole life. She also wrote, to earn money as a teenager, she had served customers at Humphrey Yogurt in Beverly Hills for $4 an hour. Thomas Markle was puzzled when he read that. She never worked while she was in school, he insisted. Last page, people. Not too bad. It's only 8 minutes after 9. The scenario of her impoverished youth grew as she became part of the Clintons and the Democrats set. In early April, she flew to New York for another of John Fitzpatrick's eve of primary celebrations at his hotel. 200 supporters cheered both Clintons in the bar decorated with Irish flags. Meghan voiced her support for Hillary Clinton in Toronto's late TV The Nightly Show. On the same show, she condemned Donald Trump as divisive and misogynist, a vote loser among women for the kind of world that he's painting. Trump, she said, has made it easy to see that you really don't want that. Brilliant. Americans were urged to vote for Hillary Clinton. Her opinion provoked no registered comments on social media. It's like she doesn't exist. Meghan had reached a turning point. After spending a few days with Corey in New York, she was certain their relationship was over. Getting him out of their jointly rented house would be difficult, she suspected, and Toronto's gossips would enjoy a damaging field day. Why doesn't she leave? Let him stay. In addition, her frustrating failure to find an exciting career follow-up to Suits and her weariness of life in Canada all coalesced during 2 days in Montreal in the spring of 2016. Dun, dun, dun! And that takes us to chapter 11, The Reitmans, take 2. All right. So it all coalesced in Montreal in the spring of 2016. That's where we are. This is really interesting to me. He's a bit wordy, shares a little more information than he needs to. But other than that, I do appreciate the thoroughness, if you will, of the book. And the fact that there were no lawsuits from her or Harry is an indication that she knew she'd lose if she went to court, because he obviously had documentation to back himself up. As we mentioned before, all the citations in the back of the book. Crazy. Crazy. All right. Maureen. I think Australia is the same. We all have the right to vote for or against. I love the pomp and ceremony and the soft diplomacy having a king brings. How does the tithing or taxing go? I don't totally understand it. I am kind of curious how that works. Are there like 2 separate tax bills that you have? Like, does it come out of income tax, or is it just you're taxed as a citizen? Or how does that work? Or are the taxes just a lot higher and then the crown takes a certain percentage of taxes people pay? How does that tax thing work? I am curious. Don't know. We have no royalty here. Everything goes to our government. Of course, we have to pay taxes to our city. And we also have to pay taxes to our state. And we also have to pay taxes to the federal government. So there is that. So I guess I can somewhat relate. Oh, yep. She left the chef to marry a spare. Indeed. Thank you, Allie D. I appreciate it. This is going to be my new book reading. It was so tight and giving me such a headache before, and now I feel nothing. I think my brain is numb. All right. Those Canadians don't want her either. Yeah, we are trying to pawn her back off. You know what I think is interesting? I was recently hearing, all right, is Harry her 3rd marriage? No. The chef, she just dated the whole time. Harry would be her 2nd marriage. Although I've heard other people reference a third marriage as well as a previous kid, but it was not mentioned in this book at all. So I don't know how much documentation there is. There's like, I saw an interview with like an old friend of hers that said how excited she was that she was going to be a royal, and then she was pregnant at the time, and that she said, this gal said something like, to, like be admired again and to be pregnant again, or I mean, to get pregnant. So like she corrected herself, but like it's possible that she just needed to correct herself. It's like those are the kind of only like proof that's out there. And I would think that by now the dad or the brother who like to sing like birds, maybe even about things that might not be true, it's hard to say, would have said something about her being pregnant before. Now, yeah, they implied she gave birth. In fact, I even saw a picture online once of this little, I think it was a little girl that somebody was holding, that they said, like, how would she go through an entire pregnancy and give birth early on in her life and nobody has mentioned it other than this random picture that I see? But like, if that were true, every media source would be picking up on it. It wouldn't just be this random picture on some obscure Facebook channel. So I just feel I'm cautious about that information, and the fact that the father and the brother have said nothing about it. I don't know how she would be able to hide that from them, because I do believe it was when she clearly couldn't have done it while she was in Suits. High school, she has all these high school friends that would be talking about it. So I would think it would be, oh gosh, before high school? Oh, I don't know. Something, I don't know. I'm not trusting that information. So, yeah, the previous marriage is not mentioned in the book. It's not mentioned by Thomas or her brother. So I don't know. Who knows what you can trust these days, right? That's the same here in Canada. I think the Crown takes a percentage. Okay, so you just pay your normal taxes and then the Crown gets it from the government. Okay. All right. Love to you all. This was lovely. Have a wonderful week. We will be here. Oh, will we? I will do my best. I will post. I will be home, but I'm leaving first thing Thursday morning. I will post the link. Well, I think I already have it posted for next Wednesday. In the event my life is absolutely crazy and I'm majorly behind, which often happens because, I've got 60 women coming for 4 days, and like all the food, all the gifts, all the prizes, it's just a lot. And some of the stuff can't be done until closer to the end. In terms of like cutting up some of the food and that, I cater some of the food, but I also do my own salads and that, just because nobody makes a good salad that you can cater, even in the Amish country where all the food is great. It's just like iceberg lettuce. Like, what? It's iceberg lettuce. So I do my own salads, just to make my life more difficult. So I have to get all that at the last minute. So that's usually what I'm doing on Wednesday. But if I can get myself far enough ahead, and I only have to like work on chopping up the salad and the pieces, parts, and packaging it all up, then I will be here next Wednesday night. So that's your, if all of a sudden the thumbnail disappears, I put it on private because I'm like, I just can't do it. So if it's gone somewhere around 6:00 and you don't see it anymore, that's why. But my fingers are crossed that I will be far enough ahead that we'll still be here. All right. Is there nasty rumors about every single royal? I think so. Yeah, I think so. All right. Good night, queens. You're all queens. We're all queens. But I will be here Friday night. So I'll see you Friday night, and we will see the second episode of 3 Wives, 1 Husband. See you then. I should bow. I'll curtsy like Meghan does. Goodbye, everybody. Love ya.